Hi everybody, cheers. Thank you for tuning in to my YouTube channel, Self-Publishing 101 with Lorenzo Monza. This is actually bone broth that we're drinking today. Bone broth is really super healthy. It's got a lot of great benefits. Read up on it. I think if you read up on it, you may end up drinking a cup a day. I drink my coffee and my bone broth, and I haven't been sick in, I don't know, 3 or 4 years now. So, what are we talking about bone broth when we're trying to talk about book covers? Let's get back to the meat and potatoes. If you like my videos, please subscribe, click the bell, and you'll be notified of my next video coming out or videos coming out. So, I had used this website to find free images. I typed in on Google free images, and several different websites came up, and I looked at them, but I actually like this one the most. And so I'm going to let you look at some of the photos here. But I did use one of the photos, and for my second book, Cancer, Seek and Destroy, the little C. So I just fell in love with it. I saw it. I mean, you see the wrinkles in the hand, and you've got an adult's hand and a child's hand, and it's hope and despair, and I mean, the black and white just really hit home with me. So I said, I'm going to make a cover out of this, and I was lucky that I could, and it turned out really nice. And everybody that, friends of mine that got the book, first thing they said is, I love your cover. It's really cool. You did that? You know, how'd you do that? Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about was a lot of these photos here are horizontal, and most of your books are going to be vertical. They're going to be 6 by 9 or 5.5 by 8.5, something like that. So when you manipulate a picture, resize a picture, and you grab it from the corners, top or bottom, not the middle or the sides or the bottom, because that will distort the picture. Your pixels will go down, so you'll be under 300 dpi. You may lose some of the picture. You may not be able to fit it the way you wanted to, and so he may look skinny, or he may be stretched out, or kind of squatty. When you manipulate a picture, you want to manipulate it so it looks the same when you're through with it. So what I like about this website is you can go into orientation and you go vertical, and vertical is what most covers look like. You can also go into category and do a search. I like to just hone in specifically in the search box and type in what I'm looking for. You can say I'm looking for a specific height. I like to leave the height of the original photos the way they are. You can go in and say I just want black and white photos only, or transparent, or I want red, you know, photos with red in it. I like to just leave that open. So this is a really cool website. It's got a lot of really nice photos of it. Now we're looking at some kind of hand family photos, which may not be up your alley. If you're a fantasy writer or a sci-fi writer, you're like, okay, I don't see it. So let's just go to images of science fiction. I mean, look at that right there. If you put your title there, you resize that, you had your name down there, would that make a good cover for a book? Hell yeah. There's another one. There's a few. Look at that. That's beautiful. But let's see. We want to go in a vertical orientation, so things are more along the lines where we don't have to resize it that much. I thought that was a cool graphic, I think. You've got these cars that are kind of just rotting out in the middle of nowhere, abandoned, and then you've got this spaceship, and it looks like a planet coming up, and this person is hitchhiking. This is a cool graphic here. This would make, I think, a good cover. The one I really kind of liked right off the bat was this one here. This is cool above it here. So, but this one I really like. Let's just take a look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Like, that is so awesome. If that was like you had your title and your subtitle and then your name, right there. You don't have to do anything to that. That's like super perfect. So, and it's free. It's a free download. There's free for commercial use. You don't have to pay. You're not going to infringe. You're not going to mess with the copyright or anything like that. You can go in and click on read the license, and I advise you to do that. But I've read it, and it's totally cool to change the cover somewhat if you want to add things to the cover. Leave it the way it is. So you can do anything you want and use it in a book and make a gazillion dollars, and that's your cover. So the person that created it isn't going to come up and say, I want my cut. It's yours, free. I like to mention the person that did the graphic or the photo. I'll put like photo cover by Sam Jones, and then designed by, and put my name, because I took his graphic or his photo and I designed it with the title and the subtitle and my name. So we both get kind of credit. This is a very high res picture. You can, when it says free download, you can pick the size that you want, and you'll get a little bit better resolution as you go up to a higher resolution size here. So I usually pick the biggest, and then I have to manipulate it a little bit, resize it a hair, but generally I don't lose very much at all. I might lose a little bit of that up there and a little bit of that. That doesn't matter to me. The most important thing is kind of an inch or so into the photograph. I don't want to cut out this this rock here. This looks like Jupiter and the rings around Jupiter. Well, the more you look at it, the more you see, and some of that light's coming through and shining on the spaceship. Cool. That would be a cool cover. So are you excited? I mean, if that's what I was looking for, I'm like, oh my God, I can just see what I want to do, and I can have it for free. It's mine. Let's talk about fonts real quickly. You can go on, like, you search for images and search for free fonts, and so we're in the category of sort of sci-fi. So we would want sci-fi type fonts. You can search for specific fonts and then look at how they're going to line up with your photo or your graphic for your cover. I would go on Amazon and do a search for science fiction books and look at the different books, maybe the first 2 or 3 pages of books, and see what the author used for their cover and what font they used and how they placed their font. Was it spaced? Was it super big? Was it super small? Was the title at the bottom, the middle, at the top of the page? Was the author's name? Where was that? How'd they place everything? What looks best with this photo? Sometimes you just have to play and drag and move things around, and then you'll see it and say boom. But I like, again, don't be afraid to use Amazon as examples to sort of show you what you are looking for, but you didn't know until you saw it, and then you're like, I want my book to look like that. You're not copying, you're just using like their idea and then incorporating it into your cover. So don't think of it that way. The other thing too, like I said in the first video, is people look at the cover of your book, they look at the title, they may look at the subtitle, and then they want to click the book because you've lured them into it, and then they may look at the price next, and if they say, okay, 12 bucks, okay, that's cool. An ebook is $4, okay, that's cool. Then they want to read the description. So you got to lure them all the way from the front door to the back door, and you got to work at that. So I strongly feel, and I've been told that I'm not 100% right, that if you can write a good book and you have a good style, you should be able to write a good description. But I've been told by some people that that's not necessarily true. I just started reading descriptions. I went again on Amazon and looked at some of these books like Stephen King and authors that are really famous, and said, what are their descriptions? How do they write their? How do they lure me? How do they hook me? How much do they give me? So please, take a look at that. Use your homework is to kind of look around you and see what is going to be there to help you move forward, not stop you. So just there's all sorts of talent out there that can help you see things that you may not have saw before. Okay, so where are we now? We looked at that. Oh, I was going to do one more thing before we go. I was told that cooking was a huge, or let's do food. I heard that that was a big sort of topic for books. Like people like to buy books on cooking. You would think that cooking books are around forever, and there's enough of them where people don't want to buy them anymore. But they're big. They're a big niche, or niche, as they say. I mean, right there, like say that was your cover. You wanted to have that. You put your title in and your name. Boom. Let's look at that. What else do you need? Check that out. That looks so awesome. Right there. You said you couldn't make a cover. You're 80% of the way there. The rest is the finishing touches. I'm going to teach you how to do that. So the next video, man, we are going to get into the gravy, meat, and potatoes. And it'll only go forward from there. This is just kind of like the background to get to the next step in creating books. I've seen so many videos where they rush through it and they're designing a book, and you're like, well, what did they just do? I'm lost. Hold my hand, get me through it. Once you do, I'll take notes, I promise, and then I'll sort of, but I want my videos to be something you can go back and forward to and say, oh, cool, I just remembered how to do that. I'm going to really show a lot. Some of my videos might be 2 minutes long, and it might be just on one tiny topic that I can teach you because I had to learn it, and not just keep going and going. I feel this video is a little long, so we are going to say until we meet again, but just look at these. There's so many covers here, you know, just awesome. And we're only at one page of how many? 76 pages of different possibilities for your cover. So you can do it. You can totally do it. You can have a good cover, a great cover, a great book. Then you just have to learn about marketing and getting your book sold and finding keywords, and that's a whole nother program. This is a good picture. I could just keep looking at this stuff all day. Look at that. That's so awesome. So, all right, we will talk again. Stay tuned. I have another video coming up shortly. Bye-bye.